Alright everyone, so recently Arc System Works teased that there's going to be a new character for Guilty Gear Strive coming up soon. As far as I know, we don't have a date for when he or she is going to be coming out yet, but it should come out soon. But anyways, let's try to figure out who's going to be added next to the roster using the clues that we have available to us as of this recording. Let's start off with the most obvious and most striking clue that they've given us: the silhouette of the character. Now, just by taking a look at this, I gotta say, this is probably the hardest one we've had to guess so far. I mean, we see some kind of like stringy things, like some kind of like skinny weird shape. Off to the side, you could see like kind of the outline of some kind of bigger poking out shape, which I've been reading. This has led people to think that we're going to be getting Fanny added. If you don't know who Fanny is, she was a character who was added in Faust's place in a Guilty Gear game that was on the Wonder Swan Color, I think that's what it was called. But here's the problem with that assumption. I don't know if you've noticed, but the Guilty Gear Strive cast, as of this recording, has mainly been released in boy girl order. Like, here's an example. The very first DLC we got was Gold Lewis, and then it was Jacko, and then it was Happy Chaos, and then it was Biken, and so on and so forth. And thus, if it were Fanny being released next, the order would be broken. However, I'm gonna admit to you, this really is not the most damning piece of evidence that there is, because look, this order has been broken before, okay? Like, for the three most recent DLCs, it was Asuka, and then Johnny, and then Elphelt. That was two boy characters in a row, being Asuka and Johnny, which means that the notion of us getting a new female character after we just got one is still in the realm of possibility, so Fanny fans, rejoice. Another thing that kind of leads people to believe that it could be Fanny is, here, take a look at the silhouette. Now take a look at this part I've kind of zoomed in on. This part that kind of protrudes out to the left looks a little bit like the tip of a syringe, like, okay, not the needle, but like, you get what I mean, like the part where the needle protrudes out. And the stringy shapes, it's very possible that it could be her hair. But other than that, one must admit that it seems kind of far-fetched that Arc System Works would go all the way back to that one obscure Guilty Gear game where she came from and just plop her in out of nowhere after like 20 years of her not being in the franchise. Like, they would do that first before adding a character that's kind of more demanded, like Dizzy or Jam or Slayer or ABBA. ABBA especially, because I'm pretty sure she's in pretty high demand. But for the sake of argument, let's assume that Arc System Works is going to be going back to tradition and doing the boy girl order that they usually do. So if we're assuming that, the majority of people who it could possibly be gets cut off the list. And hence we're left with a couple candidates that are pretty out there. Like, who do we have? We have Slayer, we have Venom, we have Zappa, we have Raven, maybe Gabriel and Answer if we were lucky, but honestly, judging by the silhouette, I don't think it's really any of them. Except maybe Venom. Yeah, Venom's very likely because he also has long hair. But the main thing that cuts him off the list is the XRD Rev 2 ending. His story got wrapped up. You know, he just wants to work in his bakery now. It's like, what? What else does that leave us with? Like freaking Leopoldon, like someone like that. So really, the only two people I could see it being kind of is Fanny or Venom. It's probably gonna be either of those two, and if it doesn't, like, it's gonna be some original character that we have never seen before, most likely. But ultimately, only one of those two can be added, if it is any of those two. So, who do I personally predict will be up next? Well, let's look at the current patterns. For this season, we've had boy already, so to balance it out, I don't see why Arc Sys wouldn't do girl next. And since we already got Elphelt, we would probably get the girl of the bunch, Fanny. So, Cookie Dough 69's official prediction for the next character in Guilty Gear Strive is Fanny. There. Hopefully, when you look back at this video in like a month or two after they reveal who it's going to be, you can be like, wow, Mark hit all the right points. You know, he was completely right. And I hope that it's not just going to be some random ass character who comes out of left field like, oh guys, we're going to be adding frickin' Mizuha's grandpa from the manga that no one read. Yeah, be happy with this. But, you know, I don't think Arc Sys was going to pull that. Probably.